Welcome, welcome, welcome to the ill blur. Matic shooby-doo-doo, oh yeah. Welcome back to Ill Blur Matter, and today's new movie review is going to be on another movie, another black film by the director, best known for music videos, Benny Boom. And what movie am I talking about? All Eyez On Me, the untold story. So let's get right into this. So the movie starts off in a very interesting fashion. It's in an interview at a correction facility where we see Tupac being interviewed by someone wanting to interview him. So that's how it starts off. It was interesting. I didn't expect them to use that interview. It's a well-known interview, but I thought they probably would have used another interview, but it works for the film. So the movie starts off with that and him talking about his mother and her being a part of the Black Panther Party, Afeni Shakur. They show her getting out of jail and being pregnant with Tupac while she is in jail, and also her and her ideology of being a Black Panther and how America pretty much does not care about black people. So she is a member of the Black Panthers, and we see this struggle through the first beginning piece of the movie. We see her and a young Tupac being followed by FBI agent. We also see where they arrest his stepfather, Mutulu Shakur. We see the upbringing that he's seen. He's seen all this stuff in front of him, and him pretty much being exposed to it at an early age. You know what I'm saying? I think it was very interesting. I like that Danai Guri did a great job playing her character. I really like how she got into it. Then the movie takes another leap into Tupac maybe in his teen years when he's in high school, when he meets Janet Jackson. So I did like that aspect of the film. We get a chance to see them a little bit kind of mingling amongst one another, him doing a play, some type of play, and her being in the crowd pretty much just amazed at Tupac, a young, at a performing arts high school, which was really cool. But then we see a transition where he's like, yo, I'm not going to be here in this, state anymore. I'm going to end up going to California. But also before that, let me just talk about one thing I forgot to mention, is that his mother, the relationship between him and his mother weren't always on the best of terms. I think both the actors, Demetrius Shipp Jr. and Danny, they really nailed that role of a mother and son bond. You would have thought like they're actually like a mother and son type of thing. Also, I want to talk about the struggles his mother had when his stepfather got arrested. Tupac's mother, friend Flex, he's like a street dude that was giving money to Tupac to, help him and his sister out and stuff. I did like that aspect of it. Now, the next part of the film was probably the most interesting, the phases of his music career. So we find out that originally Tupac was signed to Digital Underground. He was only a roadie. He was a backup dancer for Digital Underground. Kind of got fed up with it. He told, Shock G, and I like the guy that plays Shock G. The guy that plays Shock G had his mannerisms down pat. The other guy that was with Shock G at the time that was with Digital Underground, he played himself. I was shocked. I was like, it worked. It didn't, I was kind of like on the fence about it. I'm not going to lie, but I was like, this definitely works. I like that we had the introduction to Digital Underground is introduced to him by his manager, Atron. And, it was a very interesting interaction to see how Digital Underground and him came together. I also like that they really stuck with the vintage look for the Humpty Dumpty song that Tupac's featured on for the Digital Underground soundtrack that looked exactly like the actual film, like the music video film. I was like, wow, like this was spot on, like hands down. But after this situation with Digital Underground, he ends up signing to Interscope. But the problem is his first album, Tupacalypse, they did not like the song You know, Brenda's got a baby. And the thing was, they weren't really feeling it. They said, yo, it's a little bit too urban. It's a little bit too dark. And Tupac fought for that. He said, yo, this is what it's going to be. Either y'all going to sign me or you're not going to sign me. And I'm like, okay. That was crazy. Also, we see other things that go on in Tupac, like his role in Juice, phenomenal role. Also, when he meets Biggie, I like that they kind of introduced that in the movie. That was missing in Notorious. I felt like in Notorious they should have introduced that, but they did not. But in the Tupac biopic, they did. They showed that Biggie was supportive of Tupac's second album that came out. He was at the listening party. I like how they interacted with one another. Like, Tupac was like the big brother to Biggie. You know what I'm saying? Like a big brother, little brother relationship. Like sometimes you have with your friends. I did like that aspect of it, but it grew apart because Biggie saw how one of the other characters that's kind of like the antagonist. It's not the main antagonist, but I guess you could say the mini antagonist or the smaller antagonist, Haitian Jack. And Biggie said, yo, you know what I'm saying? When they did the Above the Rim movie, he said, yo, man, you might not want to be around him. You know what I'm saying? And Tupac, pretty much, we see the other thing that he struggles with is being a black leader. You know what I'm saying? His music is very political, you know, has Black Panther roots to it due to his mother's upbringing, being a part of the Black Panthers. He does not want to have that responsibility. So the burden of that. Also, he deals with police brutality to some degree in the movie. His issues with the police weren't the best experiences. So that's the other thing. Now, let's talk about pretty much the next thing I want to talk about. The next thing I want to talk about is pretty much how he came across Suge Knight. Pretty much, he was in Interscope. He had issues with Interscope. Interscope was not really rocking with him as much anymore. And he stumbles across Suge Knight. The guy playing Suge Knight, props to him. He really did a good job. These people playing Suge, boy. They really know how to play Suge, man. And the thing is, we see that he did a track for Suge. Suge paid him way more than what the label was trying to offer him. Also, him having issues with his manager at the time, A-Tron. And we see when he went to jail that the label didn't care about him. His mother went to go see about him. And everything. I did like that aspect of it. And also that his mother, he eventually got her to get help, you know what I'm saying, with her drug issues. And also him no longer being a part of Interscope. So let's talk about the last remaining piece of the film. The last piece is talking about maybe his last part of the pretty much of his life. And this happens when we see him eventually signed to Suge Knight. Suge Knight is the one that gets him out of jail. And stuff like that. And he ends up going to Death Row. He records songs pretty much. Ambition as a writer. First song was California Love. I like the guy that played Dr. Dre. I also like that they used a guy to play Snoop, but they gave Snoop the voice for him. Because I was like, man, if you don't have traditional Snoop voice, it's going to sound weird. You know what I'm saying? I did like that aspect of the film. But we also see that and the struggles with Death Row. You know what I'm saying? How Suge treated the label like a family, but with family, there are issues. He had an issue with one guy he made an example of. Also, Tupac thought he was going to get a raise from the label. He dropped All Eyez On Me. It was the best platinum selling album. But the problem was he still was owing the label for a studio and other things. So I did like that they showed the realism of like, yes, you could be signed to a record contract, but you also need to re-up the money that you made from the record. Also, the studio time, the production, the music videos, they're paying for that. So that was the realism about that. I did like that, showed that. Also, it showed the downside with Suge and how he handled people with the label and stuff like that. But let's talk about the final piece. When Suge offered Tupac, you know, he's like, yo, I'm going to do Death Row East. I want you to be a part of Death Row East. And this is when things started to take a turn. We also see that Snoop and him are not on the best of terms. Him and Cat Graham's character, known as Jada Pinkett Smith, they're not on the best of terms. And literally, we see the demise of him. You know what I'm saying? Him being around Suge, kind of amplifying him to, like, you know, do certain things and everything. And to some degree, it was kind of Suge's fault because Suge was hanging around Bloods most of the time, and Snoop Dogg was the only Crip. I did like that they showed the airplane, the jet scene where he got on, and Snoop was like very uncomfortable. But, Dogg Pound had to get on another plane when they were in Vegas, and Snoop was like, yo, we're going to handle this after he comes back from Las Vegas. Pac gets to Vegas and everything, gets into a fight with Orlando, and literally, I was like, man. And then after that, this is what takes place. They eventually leave, and, pretty much, he tells Outlaws get in this car. He's riding with Suge, and he ends up getting shot. So, I gotta say, this is probably a better biopic that I've seen. Like, I really like that they introduced Biggie's relationship with Tupac, and it wasn't kind of like one-sided. I like that they showed the relationship between him and his mother, even though they weren't on the best of terms at sometimes. I also like that they showed the issues that he had with the police, and also like the issues that him labeling him a black leader with music, and also just how shady the record labels can be sometimes. I gotta give this film a solid B+. Like, this was really good. The cast, Suge was spot on. Feeny was spot on. The Tupac character was spot on. He had the charisma of Tupac. Even just Dr. Dre, the guy that played Dr. Dre, was really good. And like I said, even when I think about it, just the story, I'm glad they didn't really interview the whole movie to some degree, but it was just some of the movie just to kind of maybe add some value to it. The story was really interesting. The demise of an artist that did so much. Only at 25, he was in 7 films. He had a nice amount of albums, and it's just unfortunate, that he did not live to see what else he could have done. Tupac Shakur. He's also one of my favorite artists. That was one of the first rap artists that I really got into. Have you guys seen All Eyez On Me? You tell me in the comments, guys. Your boy, Ill Blurmatic, and I will be back, with another review or some content. You already know. So take care, guys, and I'm out. Ill Blurmatic, and the saga continues. Oh, yeah.